Hello, I guess we're live. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for some other people to come in, and then we will get started. Hey, Barb. I'm glad you could join me today. Hi, Pam. Okay. So you guys can hear me okay? I have a fan blowing back here because I get so hot, and just hope it doesn't make too much background noise. Okay. Hi, Gina. Hi, Mary. Okay. Yeah, Barb, it has been a while. I hope you guys are all doing okay. All right. I have to arrange all my toys here. Inevitably, I always forget something, so. Hey, I made it on time. Hi, Gwen. Yeah, sometimes, sometimes I get lucky. You did a great job earlier. I enjoyed your demo that you did this morning. It's looking good. All right, let's see here. So today we're going to, or I'm going to show you how I attach metal clay embellishments to either silver wire or sheet discs. I guess you can add it to a lot of different things. My thoughts are kind of like scrambled right now. So I'm trying to get my laptop in sync here with me so that I can read your comments. Oh yeah, okay, you made it on time, Gwen. I thought you said I made it on time. It's like, okay. No, I'm really glad that you can join us today. Let's see here. I'm not getting, oh, here we go. Okay, loud and clear. Okay, good. All right, so let me start by showing you some of the things that I have made with my embellishments, my metal clay embellishments, and it would just give you an idea of what you can do with them, and more. You can do way more than what I've got here. For an example, let me turn this down a bit, and hopefully you can see some of the pieces that I made. I'm also going to do a tube set bezel today. There were a few people that were asking me that while they were having trouble with doing that. So I thought, well, I can go over that as well. So yeah, these are some little metal clay bees that I made, and I've got a honeycomb pancake or impression die, and made the little honeycomb with it for the bees to sit on it, which I kind of think is kind of cute. And then here are some little metal clay birds that I just put on a hammered loop or hoop, and the same with these little flowers. And then made a small pendant, just adding a few of the embellishments. And I've only done one larger pendant, with a bezel, with a stone set, and just put a few little succulents on there too. So, but you can do all kinds of different things with it. So, well, hello, Bev. Happy birthday to you. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, so anyway, those are some of the things that you can make. And I'm going to make probably a set like this with the bees today, and one of these pendants with several of the embellishments on there. So that's that. All right, so I'm going to put these aside. And hello, Carol. People are streaming in. That's good. So anyway, I made some hoops or rings. I don't know. I usually call them hoops. And I have textured the top side of some of those. And I guess what I'll do, because not everybody that's in the group is, I don't know, I don't want to say proficient, but familiar with metalsmithing, and I think they're leaning towards it. And I'm just taking things simple for right now so that people can kind of see if this is maybe a direction they want to go in. But so what I'm going to do is I already cut a couple of hoops, but I need to solder them. So I'm going to go through the little solder experience with them, with you, and you can see what's involved there. I'm going to move the camera around a little bit here, try to get a little closer. Okay. All right, and I made the hoops with, I used a wrap and tap plier for that. It's kind of a handy little thing to make rings and loops. So that's one item. You can make really large loops with these double cylinder pliers. And so you can have like this size loop or this size loop. These come in various diameters. This is one of the larger ones. I've got some smaller ones on order, but they didn't make it in time for the demo today. But just to get you familiar with how you can make those round shapes. And then there's also what's known as a hoop mandrel. And it is, it's got a lot of different possibilities as far as sizes go. So you could either make, you know, something a very large hoop, or you can make it very small, just whatever you're going for. This one, you wrap the wire around it. And in my handout that I will put on the group page after we're done with this demo, it shows you how the wire is set up around there. So that's something you can do. Also, if you don't have something like this, you could use a dowel rod, a thick dowel rod, even a closet rod, you know, that for hanging your clothes. Of course, those are kind of old-fashioned now, but anything to get that round diameter you can use to wrap your wire around. Of course, that would make a really big one. Okay, so that's the hoop mandrel. All right, so let me say, or see, I want to put these to the side, and I've got some hard sheet solder that I'm gonna solder these rings with, because I'm going to be pounding on them a lot, and I want to make sure that they don't pop open. Of course, that has a lot to do with the quality of my solder job, but I'm just going to cut off a couple little snippets, and you don't need much. You actually don't want much. I'm all thumbs when it comes to this stuff. Okay, those might be actually a little too large. But I've got this honeycomb block that I'm working on, and I don't want them too small or they're going to go down the holes. Okay, I guess I could switch over to a different block. But anyway, I will, let's see, move these out of the way a bit. All right, that's way too big. As is this. Oh yeah. Okay, well, they're going down the holes. So we're gonna move to something else here. My really cruddy board. And what I'm going to do is place this little tiny snippet of solder under the split of my ring here. Okay, and I'm going to get my flux. Okay, get that. Oh, and you know, I left my other solder on my soldering station, but I don't need it quite yet. Okay, so I am going to turn on my, can you guys see okay? I think so. Okay. All right, so I'm going to warm up the ring. I've got my flux all over. And I'm working with sterling silver here. If I had fine silver, I would be using a smaller torch with a less bushy flame, because I would probably, there it goes, there, it melted right away. I would annihilate the fine silver if I use this bushy of a flame. Okay, and that's soldered too. Okay, so it goes pretty quick. And where's my quench water? Okay, that's not the most handy place to have it. Okay, move this out of the way. All right, so it is soldered. All right, I'm going to stick these in the pickle real quick. Hopefully they won't take long. And in the meantime, what was my, I'll look at a couple of questions. Okay. I think everybody's board is crusty looking after they've done a fair amount of soldering. Okay. 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 I use Prips, Jan. I've been using Prips for quite a while now. I like it a lot. I do have other fluxes as well, but I kind of stick with the Prips. I like it. And I've heard that there's a hard time getting it right now, but I'd advise you, when you get it, get a larger bottle, and it'll last you a good long while. Found a piece of little solder here. Get rid of that. Okay, so in the meantime, I guess I will look at some of my metal clay embellishments that I've made. Oh, this is a tube setting. That doesn't belong there. Okay, so I have a few choices. I'm going to save the bees for the sheet, because I do have 2 of those discs cut out and ready to go. So I'll do that after I do this other. But I'm thinking, I kind of like these leaves a lot. I don't know if you can see those very well. I hope you can. Let's see. Of course, this is, I'm thinking maybe this arrangement. Oh, I shouldn't put it on silver. Bad background. All right, Post-it note. Let's see if that'll work. I'm thinking maybe just something simple like that. The 2 flowers like that. put them together like that. Okay, so I need to make sure that the backs of the metal clay are nice and sanded flush so that they'll sit on the wire without any problem. And so I'm going to just put this on my little sticky block. We talked about this last week, I believe, in the last week demo. And I'm just going to sand the bottom, kind of go in a circular motion. I don't know if it really makes that much difference, but you want it to be even. You don't want one side higher than the other. So if you just apply pressure and go in a circular motion, this was already pretty flat, but I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes. So that one's good. And I'll put this little leaf on here and do the same. Now on this one, on some of the metal clay pieces, I got like a divot in the center, but I think there's enough material that's flat around the surrounding area that I shouldn't have any problem with the solder adhering. At least we'll find out. All right, we'll do this one as well. Oh, Tammy, you saw my little purple dish? Yeah, I'm gonna do a class on these soon. Not in the next couple of weeks, but fairly soon. The problem with this is I do this in a kiln, and not everybody has a kiln. So you know, I mean, it's good to watch the demo. You can see how they're made, and it may get you into enameling. I don't know if you're not. So I love to enamel. I absolutely do. Okay, so those are flat enough. They're just sanded just well enough. And let's check on those pieces to see if they have pickled, if they have cleaned. Move some stuff around here. This hoop mandrel out of the way. There we go. That thing's heavy. And feel free to ask any questions if you have any. If I can't get to them while I'm doing this, I will certainly answer them later. Or maybe someone who knows can jump in and answer for you. All right. They're not the cleanest, but they'll be all right. So what I'll do is at this point, I'm going to clean them up just a bit, and I'm going to put my mask on. And I happen to love these little rubber wheels. They're a white, coarse rubber wheel. It's got some grit in there, and it takes down these little solder bumps real fast. The key in using these is not to stay in one place very long so that you don't get grooves and everything. But what I'm doing is just pretty simple. I'm just cleaning this up a little. And you know, I don't know if other metalsmiths would approve of this or not. I don't know. I didn't have formal training in anything. I did take a few classes here and there, but a lot of this stuff is learn as I go. So my methods may not be spot on, but I can live with it, and at least I hope I'm not steering anybody in the wrong direction with the way I do things. But I think everybody finds their own way of doing things as well. I think that's pretty common. Not everybody can be trained professionally. All right. So I'm just cleaning that up a bit. All right. And now I'm going to make sure that these are rounded out well. So I'm going to take my hoop mandrel and a rawhide hammer. And kind of beat the daylights out of it all the way around. And then I turn it over and do that again. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now this one is quite small. This one I kind of bent out of shape when I was forming it. You know, you don't always have to have your metal in a complete circle when you're soldering it. A lot of times a good way is to kind of make a D shape out of the metal, and that way your ends will meet pretty easily. And sometimes they get a little bit wavy, which this is slightly. So I will just put it on my bench block and hit it with the chasing hammer. And that will true it up there. Okay. Does anybody have any questions at this point? When did I make the metal clay pieces? Is this, yeah, Brenda, it is, you'll have to look in the files, but it should be metal clay embellishments. I think that's the name of it. But yeah, all the demos that I'm doing, they're in the file section. And some people have had trouble finding them, but the new Facebook format, at the top of the page, you know, gives you the, I don't know, the menu, I guess, up at the top. And it says media, whereas the old Facebook format said videos. So if you click on media, then it gives you the choice to go to photos or videos or something else. I'm not sure. So yeah, you click on videos and you should find it there. So the files, I said that wrong. The files just have the hard copy, you know, the hard copy instructions, which will be there this afternoon for this. But yeah, you should be able to find any of those things. So let's see. Hi, Diane. Oh, good. You guys have had it rough in California. It's terrible. I just pray that all this stuff's over soon for you guys. It's just, my heart goes out to you guys. Okay. All right, let's see. So I've got the circle made, and now I want to texture it. I would normally spend a little more time cleaning this up, but you know, we're kind of on a time constraint with this. So I will texture this now. And let's see here. Finding my things. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So I like to use a little bench block, and I have a couple different texture hammers. You could use texture hammers, or you could use metal stamps, metal design stamps, and a regular hammer. It's just really depends on what you like and what kind of a look you're going for. So I'm going to use this little, I guess it's not a dimple plier, but it's just a little, my words, where are my words? Where are my words? It just gives a nice hammered edge, okay? All right, and so I'm going to use that. If you are afraid that you're going to hit your fingers, you can hold the loop with your with a popsicle stick, craft stick. That's actually a pretty good good thing to use. So I'm going to use this little rounded edge. This and this little flat edge are my favorite. I guess I'll do one of each, but let's see here. This just gives such a nice edge, nice sparkle. It doesn't take very long at all. And it catches the light really nicely. When you're doing smaller rings like this, you probably will want to use something like a craft stick because it's easier to hit your fingers. But this one's kind of big, so there's no fear of that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have done things that I didn't anticipate doing. I'm sure we all have. Okay. So that's got a nice little sparkle texture to it. No, it's not a riveting hammer. This is just like a little texture hammer. This one, it makes really small little indents, and this one's just a little bit larger. And this one is a flat one that makes lines really nice. All right, so I did this one. Now I'll do this one with the other hammer and show you. One's got a little bit finer edge on it than the other one, and you're just going to make lines. Just kind of follow it around. But like I said, you can get some really cute designs with metal design stamps too. This one is the one that I used stamps with, so that's kind of cute. And when you patina this, it's really nice because the patina goes in those little crevices, and it looks really nice. Okay, so then this one, I hope you can see, this is the little lines. Oh, the gauge of the wire, I used 12 gauge. This is 12 gauge on this. And this is a 14 gauge. So it's substantially thicker, this one. But you can use whatever you like. It's the process, it all works the same. All right, so I'm going to put, I guess I'm ready to solder these. All right, let's see here. Get these out of the way. A good thing to have for this technique is to have strips of titanium. I have a variety of sizes, and the metal doesn't solder to it, so these are nice little props, and they do get crusty with the flux, but you can put them in pickle and leave them sit there for a while, and all that flux comes off. So they're pretty handy to have. You can get titanium strips at Rio Grande. I know, I'm not sure who else sells them, but Rio Grande has them for sure. I think most of these were like 6 inches long by 1 inch wide, and then I just cut them up in little pieces as to how I needed to use them. So for this, I'm going to use a tripod. I'm going to move the camera just a bit. That's a little higher than I thought it was going to be, but maybe that's better for you guys to see. All right, so I'm going to, this is a heavy duty wire screen. I use this for enameling too. I'm not sure everywhere where you can get them, but for sure, other than I know that Jean Van Brederode from Enamel Warehouse, she carries these. That's going to be in the resources too. So they're pretty nice to have. The other neat little thing that I'm going to show you, and some of you I'm sure are aware of these already. These are hummingbird holders. Eli Gamini, I'm not sure really how you say his name, but he's on Facebook. I also have him in the reference section. He makes these, and they are wonderful things to hold your work down with. I probably don't need to use them for this, but if I do, I have them handy. So how they work is you just put your, well, you'd have to have something else on top of it, but if it's something that's going to move a lot, I'm just doing this for an example, and you wanted it to stay there while you solder, you put it on top of there, and it doesn't move. They're wonderful. So you can use them in lots of different applications. So they come in different sizes, different shapes. He's got a whole bunch of them. I limited myself to 3, and I've been great with these. So I'll leave one out just in case I need it. You can use multiples too if you're using if you're making a big project and you have several different things to solder at the same time. You can set it up, so that you can fit them on there. I like to use the bigger mesh screen. I think this is a 6 inch. There are also 4 inch, but the 6 is nice because if you are using these guys, it gives them more space, more surface space to be able to use them. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, Barb, there's always more toys to buy. It never ends. It never stinking ends. And I'm okay with that. All right, so I've got some little tiny pieces because I want some of the area to prop up within the circle. And I'm using these to keep the metal clay pieces from wobbling when I'm soldering. So, because that really is an issue. Now, some people don't like solder paste. I'm not one of those people. I like it. I use it. I try to keep good ventilation when I'm using it. I have a fume trap that I use, and I also have fans blowing in the shop. So, and I'm not sticking my head in it. Well, I am kind of right now, but not normally sticking my head in there. I am going to use medium solder, wherever it is, right here, medium solder paste. You can use wire solder if you want. I would sweat solder them first though, the backs of your pieces, just to keep it from, well, it'll just work better that way. All right, so I'm building up my little pieces of titanium. And I should test out my piece, because they want to fall. You know, they just naturally want to fall. They're heavier. And we're also working on a not level surface. It would probably be easier, well, it definitely would be easier if I was just on a solderite board, but I'm not. So I'm not because I want to get the heat from underneath. That's my reason. All right, let's see here. It's a little fiddly at first, but I think it's worth it. I really do. All right, what I'm going to do is put my solder paste. The solder paste helps it to stay on as well. Kind of acts like a glue. So I'm just putting a little bit in the center of the piece. I really should be standing up because it's tall. And I'm certainly not. All right. Get my little leaves here. And stay. These could possibly move when I put the flame on them. That I can probably expect it because that's just the law. That's how things work. What did I do with the other leaf? You guys there for a minute. I don't know why. I hope things are normal now. All right. I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that? Okay. All right. So I'm going to put that back up here. And I think I'm good. All right. Here's the other leaf. Right in front of my face. All right. All right. So don't fail me now. See, it does smoke. It's kind of nasty. Thankfully, it's not right in my face. That is the paste. Put it from the top a little bit. And back underneath. Whoa, I'm getting kind of red hot here. I think I got it. Oh boy, you always hold your breath with this stuff. Did I do it on the wrong side? I hope not. Okay. Quench it. They're still on. check the back. One thing I forgot to mention that is kind of important, or what I like to do, is where your solder seam is on the hoop, your first solder seam. I like to put something on top of that to kind of conceal that. This will clean up okay. You won't be able to see it really, but that's a good thing to keep in mind. I had the hard solder on the hoop, so the medium, it's not enough to pop that seam open. So yeah, it's on there good. Now these are still nice and shiny because this is fine silver and this is not. So I don't like to make the hoops out of fine silver. You certainly can if you want, but I just find it's too soft, and it's, I don't know, it's easy for me to puddle it. So I'm gonna put this in the pickle. And move on to the bee and the tube setting. Do you guys have any questions? A thinner, Cynthia, a thinner screen would probably be okay, but you know, the screens that come with these tripods, they're not very sturdy. I mean, you can burn through those. So I just like to use the heavier duty ones, but try it. I mean, if you've got one, go ahead and try it. I'm sure it works to some degree, I mean, or to some point. All right, now this stuff's kind of hot, so I'll move this out of the way. Now what I didn't do was put my hole in my disc, but that really, I don't think that matters right now at this point. I've got 2 of the honeycomb discs, and I am going to get a bee, and I like to orient them. I'm going to get a 3mm tube setting now and drop it on the floor. Now the thing with tube settings is they're very small and they're thin, but each end, you know, if you flip it over, one of the rims is thick, the metal is thick, and that goes down on the metal side. The thin wall goes on the top. That's the side that the crystal is going to go in there. Okay, if you solder it upside down, you're not ever going to be able to solder a stone in there. It's just not going to happen because there's no ledge. There's a little ledge that's been drilled inside these to accommodate the stone. So if you solder it upside down, you're out of luck. Okay, so that's very important to know that you orient it in the right way. All right, so I'm going to get my solder that I left on the other bench. Okay. And I'm going to orient this tube setting in one of the little holes of the honeycomb. And then I want the bee to kind of be like going towards that crystal. That's just a design choice. It's not the law. It's not the way it has to be. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Okay, but I'm going to put a little bit of medium solder paste on the bee. The tube setting I'm going to use wire solder. Goodbye. And I'm going to drop in, well, actually, I should have fluxed this. All right. You don't really have to flux when you're using solder paste, but I still like to add a little bit on there. Let me warm this up just a bit. No, I'm not going to do that. It'll be okay, I think. I'm a risk taker too, so. Okay. Okay, so I've made sure that I've got the bigger, the wider bottom of the tube on the bottom. And I'm going to take a piece of medium wire solder and drop it in the hole. Another issue that you could have for not successful soldering of the tube is that you put too much solder in there, and the solder comes up, lands on that ledge that the stone is supposed to sit in, and then the stone doesn't sit. It just can't seat. Okay. And the other thing is, if you apply too much heat, you can actually distort that tube setting, and then your stone's not going to fit either. So, you know, there's a few variables in there. But that's all you have to do for that. I hope you guys can see. It's frustrating when you watch a video and you can't see what people are doing real close. But I think without expensive equipment, you know, you kind of get what you get. So, okay, so I'm ready to solder this. And just warm it up slightly from the top, and then see that flux is starting to dry up a little bit, which is good. Circulate my heat. I don't want to put the flame directly on my tube bezel because I could melt it very simply, very easily. And there, the solder flowed for the bezel, and I'm hoping that it did on the bee. But using two different solders, I guess, can be tricky. All right, well, I'm going to call that good, but it may not be. Just keeping it real here, guys. You know, it just, I think it's on, but when we quench it, we'll find out. It sure is. It's on. It's crusty, but it's on. It's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Pickle that. Now on this one, I want it to go the opposite way because I want them, even though they're going to be on two different ears, I'd like them to both be facing the opposite direction. All right, so I get another tube. These tubes are pre-drilled inside. You can do your own if you want to. I have the stuff to do it, but not the desire. So you can buy these already with a little ledge in them. I get them from Halstead. You can get them from Rio. I think my orientation might be a little different on that other one. So let's go back to here. All right. spray some flux. I'm going to put, I don't need the shims for this. It sits okay on here. The shims I really just use for those embellishments because they would just wobble all over the place. I'm not certain I have that in the same orientation. Let me look here. Whoa! Oh. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I got to get my other bee and put some solder paste on it. Can I zoom in at all? Is that any better, Patty? Sometimes when you get too close, it's not good either, so I'm glad you're letting me know. Okay. Okay. Patty, is that any better? What gauge are the shims? You know, I think they come in either 20. I don't think it really matters which one. I use multiples, so if you're uncertain, get a strip of each. I think it's only like $6 or something if you can do that. I don't know. I have quite a few of them, but I've cut them up in different for different needs. It's hard to say unless I measured it, and I don't have that tool right here. All right, so I'm ready to go. I just need to put my solder in the hole. My tube is set the right way. And I drop that one. I'm not the most graceful thing here. Okay, I've got my little solder chip in there. All right. Get my torch. Is that better? Why did I use medium and hard? I like to use medium on anything, especially on anything I'm pounding, like wire, like this, like loops. And then I'm going to use another, I don't know, medium is good too, to attach the flowers. So I don't know. I could use easy just as well, I suppose. Can I zoom in with the camera? No, I can't. I don't think I can. Maybe that. I've got the camera set on like one of those tripod selfie stick kind of things. So is that any better, Patty? I mean, if I held it up, but then I can't work. So I don't know. It's good? Okay. All right, I'm going to do this. I don't want to burn my phone either, so I'm not going to get any closer. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I want to give it one more shot. Oh, come on. I just cleaned this nozzle. There we go. Just cleaned it today because I didn't want it to get stuck. All right, paper towels out of the way so I don't burn anything down. Just kind of kiss it just a little lightly with the flame, just to dry up that flux a little bit. And I'm going to move underneath. I probably should have concentrated more on the bee first before the okay, now the tube setting just went, and I believe, although I didn't see any smoke, I believe that that's set. Sometimes it's very easy to see the solder flow, and sometimes not so much. You see them okay? All right, quench. Okay, all right, good. He's on. All right, now let's check. Okay, this actually could have stayed in the pickle a little bit longer, but I'll see if I can clean it up a little bit better. Get this hot thing out of the way. All right. Okay. Any questions? Yes, Gina, it is from a honeycomb rolling mill texture I got from Roberta Peel from Oregon Trail Silver. It is beautiful. It is, I think, right here. She's got two different ones. She's got two different, or I think 2 or 3 sizes of the honeycomb. I've got the largest, I think, and the medium. Yeah, I've got, well, I'm not sure now, but this is the tiniest one, which is cute, but I like this one better. This is the larger one. You get kind of crappy looking after a while, though, unless you polish them, and I'm not going to do that. As long as they work. Okay, so that's those. That's what I used for that, and a disc cutter. All right, so what are we making today? Came in late? Okay. Hey, Sonny. We are soldering embellishments, metal clay embellishments on silver wire and also silver sheet, little discs. And okay, let's see. No, no hot phones. Okay. Cynthia, I probably didn't do a great job explaining why I used the hard and the medium, or the solder that I chose, but I don't know. Hard solder seems to be a good go-to, and depending on how many times you're going to reheat and add things, you know, you want to start with hard, then to medium, then to easy, so stuff doesn't fall off. So that's kind of my reasoning for that. All right, so I'm going to clean this up a bit, and then I'll wait for the the bees, you know, to come out of the pickle, and then we'll clean those up and I'll set the stone. So I'm just gonna, oh, I don't need my mask. I'm really trying to be better about using it from all the little particles and stuff that are floating around in the air. A lot of times I'll use like a wire brush on my handpiece to give it like the first go over, to get some of the residue off. It should have soaked in the pickle a little bit longer, but if you're impatient like I am, this works too, just to get a lot of this surface stuff off. And then you have the decision to make if you want to patina it or not. But really, there's no mystery, you know, between soldering the metal clay embellishments on versus regular sterling or fine silver embellishments. It's pretty much the same thing. I'd say the key thing is using the shims to help you balance it if you're doing a design that requires that. And working on these hoops like this, you know, you really do need it so it doesn't slide off. And it just ensures your success. All right, so let me change this out. I finally got this back, this micromotor. I had it, I had bought it in Tucson when I was there in February, and didn't really use it much because stuff was going on, and my classes were all canceled and stuff, so I didn't use it. And then when I got it out, I don't know, a month or so ago, I got it out and I realized that it had the wrong size collet in there for what I needed. I guess they sell them standard with the 1/8 inch collet inside, and I use a 3/32 with everything. So I contacted Fordham and I sent it back and they took care of it for me. So I just have only had this back a couple of days, and I'm happy to have it. But I'm still new using it, so it's a little bit different than the flex shaft, but it doesn't seem to be as powerful. But for traveling and doing classes and stuff, rather than have to take my flex shaft with me, this is going to be a decent substitute. And it's great for doing little demos like this too. But yeah, I mean, when I press on it, I can feel the motor kind of not being able to handle as much as I'd like it to, if that makes any sense. So the next step I would do, you know, you'd clean up any little solder areas that are on the back of the embellishments. And I just kind of give it a rough polish like this, and then I'll stick it in the tumbler for a good hour, and it'll have a really nice shine on it. But, you know, that looks pretty good for being just a little quick thing there. So, all right. Anybody else? Where did I get the bee mold? I got... Great, Gwen. I'm glad you were able to see some of it. There's not much left, but you can always catch it on replay if you need to. Thanks for joining us. Sunny, or for the bee, Debbie, I don't have my molds in front of me, but they're molds that I bought on Etsy. If you go to the video in our group page on making the embellishments, you will see the molds that I used. And I don't know if I used a bee in the video, but but my resources are in the files page, and you can see where I got them. I got them on Etsy. I think it was Mold Muse. I think that's the name of the shop that had the little tiny bees. But they're just perfect for metal clay. They make all kinds of really fun stuff. So you might want to check them out if you are interested in doing metal clay. Let's see what else. Okay, I think, you know, I really cooked those other pieces. So I fired them a little bit longer than I should have, which really made the metal pretty darn dark. And I'm using a makeshift pickle pot here, so it's not the best. It's not the best thing here. I've got a little cup of pickle on a cup warmer, and doesn't seem to be as hot as it should be. Although I've heard various thoughts on whether the pickle has to be screaming hot or not. But yeah, this looks pretty icky. Let me get my other disc. Hang on a sec. You know, you want stuff to be perfect, especially when you're doing a demo. And a lot of times, I gotta say, I've been lucky with stuff working out. But this one, I would say, is kind of not so great. I really fried these. So this is just a stainless steel wire brush that I used to get a lot of the crud off with initially. Oops, face mask. Safety, guys, it's important. It really is. You don't want to be breathing this stuff. So, you don't need to see me. Yeah, I definitely fried this a little bit too long. He's crying. Yeah, I got a lot of excess solder on this guy. I guess I put a little bit too much on him. But I can still set it and clean them up later. I can get in there a little bit better with some other bits. Oh, this guy feels weird with this wire brush on here. It feels weird. A lot of vibration. Let's try this other thing. Well, I can say I'm not real happy with this micromotor right here. Unless I'm using it wrong. That's an annoying sound. And I was worried I didn't solder them on good. He's on a little bit too good. All right. It's not the neatest job, that's for sure. But he can still be cleaned up. But I'm going to go ahead and set the crystal in there so you can see that, how that's done. Hopefully I didn't screw up the inside. Any questions? Needs a charge. It's plugged in, Jennifer. It is plugged in. But it sure does sound like that, doesn't it? Yep, it is definitely plugged in. So, I don't know. I have to investigate that. Like I said, I just got it back a couple days ago and really haven't used it much. So, I'll ask Deborah Mauser because she has one too, and maybe she can enlighten me if I'm doing something wrong. Oh. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I actually, when I cooked him so much, I distorted the metal a little bit. And that can happen if you're not careful. And I guess I was not being careful enough. I would say that's the bottom line, is I wasn't careful enough. Just trying to see if I can get rid of a little bit of that bow. I guess it really doesn't matter that much, but you know, I know that I did that, so I kind of don't like that. All right, as far as the crystal, I have a little... Hi, Suzanne. You slept in? Yeah, well, you're on a completely different time zone than we are, so I admire the fact that you're even here. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to base this on what I have the most color of, because these are not my finest pair. So, well, I have a lot of red, so I'll go with red. I like red anyway. All right, so here again, I have my little 3mm crystal, and I think, you know, putting these in and getting them in the right orientation is always a little tricky. I turned it upside down, and now, wow, that really goes down there. That shouldn't go down that far. Do I have the right size? I do. These are 3mm. This is the hard part, is getting that crystal in the proper orientation so that it is level, and it is not. It looks kind of like it is, but it's not. So you just have to kind of fiddle with it a little bit. To me, this is always, this really sits down low. I don't know that that's, I might have distorted that because I heated it so long. It could very well be an issue. Let me see this other one. Get this other guy out of the pickle. So I guess that's a good lesson there, guys. Like, not overdoing your stuff. I want to just see if it fits in this cup any better. Yeah, that one fits way better. That one's in right. So I don't know if you guys, no, there's too much glare for the steel block. Let's see. Still glare. Okay. All right, so that's in about as level as I can get it. All right, so now I'm going to take my bezel setting punches and this is a 3mm, and I kind of, you know, they just, to me, these just don't line up right. This says it's a 3.5mm, and it barely even fits on the rim. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, my idea is that the punch is supposed to fit over it so that it can, so the bezel can kind of, I don't know, kind of hug the stone a little bit. So I'm going with a 4mm. And what I'll do is I put this got little hole in the bottom or opening in there, fits over the setting. So I'm straight down on it. Give it a couple of whacks straight down, and then I'm kind of rotating the punch as I go. And then I'll take the punch and burnish it, you know, just kind of wiggle that around in there. And it's in. I always kind of drop it on something and see if the stone is in there, but I can see that the rim around the tube is nicely done. And there, I don't know if you can, I don't know why my light keeps changing on this phone. It looks kind of weird. The lights in the studio are not dimming or anything, so it's the phone, I guess. All right, can you guys see that? It's set. This one is not cleaned up at all, but it doesn't matter. These are CZs, they're glass. They can take the polishing, they can take the tumbling. It's not going to harm it in any way. I can finish it up later on. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. As far as setting the CZ in a tube set. There's just a couple of key things that you have to know is that you put the tube on the correct way, where the thin wall is up and the fatter wall is down on your work, that you don't distort it by over firing your work, which I think I did on this one. This one I definitely fried. It just seems like I can't see the little ledge that's inside there, so maybe that kind of melted, I'm guessing. I don't know. But I could tell that that's not going to be successful, so unless I can figure out something else to do with this, he's going to go in the scrap pile. And you just chalk it up to learning. It can be frustrating, but you know, that's how you learn. So I got the CZs, if you're interested. I mean, they're also in the resource on my resource page that's in the file section. but I got them from a variety of places because not every place carries a nice assortment of colors. So I got some from Halstead. That would be my first choice, but they don't have every color and every size. So I got some from Halstead. I got some from Rio. Even Fire Mountain Gems, which I usually don't use them at all for anything, but they did have some CZs, and I did buy them from them. And you can also find some on Etsy. But, you know, if you're like me, I hate to pay all the extra shipping charges. So if I can get more things in one place, I'm all for that. But sometimes you just can't. So anyway, that's pretty much our project for today. We did the soldered on embellishments on the wire hoop and also on a silver disc. And I will have instructions available as soon as the broadcast is over. If you have any questions, you can always message me, or, you know, I'm going to look over the comments and stuff in a little bit, and I will address anything that needs to be addressed. And I wanted to tell you also, next week we're going to do pins. We're going to do the little tack pins. I am specifically going to make this little flower pin, but today I was putzing around and I made this little, I don't know what you call it. It was one of the Potter pancake dies. It always reminds me of a cartoon character's hair or something. I don't know, but you know, for lapel pins, these just have the little pin back on them, and they're simple to do. They're very, very simple to do. So we'll do those. And then this is one of my shrinky dinks that I also put on a tack pin. And oh, Gina, I got the tack pins from Rio. There's like 50 in a bag that you have to buy a quantity of 50. But they're fun to make. They're very fun to make. So the little shrinky dink, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that class, because we'll just make some different things, and then I poured resin over it on top. So so that's kind of neat. So that'll be coming up. Well, tack pins next week, not the shrinky dink, but the shrinky dinks will be fun. You can do with your children if you have young children, or grandchildren if you have them, or just yourself if you enjoy doing that kind of stuff. They're fun for holiday pins. You know, I use rubber stamps with them, so there's lots of different options, and I'll go over that with you. And you know, I've got a full lineup of different demos from week to week. I also posted last night on my page about thinking about offering a class, a paid class, coming up maybe, I don't know, sometime in October, possibly, if the response is good. I don't know if everybody saw it or not. I'm going to hold it up. I should have put it closer, but I didn't think about it. Okay. This is a class that I should have been doing, or should have done at Bead and Button last year, but it didn't materialize. So I'm going to offer this as a class, and it is what I call a boho necklace and earrings. I initially had it as a 3-piece, a trio with the bracelet, but I think I'm just going to skip that and do the earrings and the necklace. And it will come, the class will come with everything. The only thing you're going to need are your tools. But all the wires, the pendants, you're going to have a choice of different pendants, different shapes, different sizes. Not everybody wants a large one. This is, I think, almost 2 inches round. This is like 1.5 inches round. So there'll be some variety, and they'll all be roller printed. And then the earrings, I just have one here, but we will make all the components. I will send all the wire, the different sizes, the jump rings, everything that you're going to need. The only thing you're going to need, like I said, was your tools, and if you want to patina the whole thing. So, but I think I'm going to patina the wire ahead of time and the jump rings ahead of time, so that way you don't have to dunk them in the patina afterwards. I don't know. I'm still working it out, but I'm thinking, you know, so there'll be a small amount of riveting if you want to put embellishments on there. A lot of wire working. You'll be doing a wrapped loop. So if you don't know how to do that, you will probably be an expert by the time you're done with this. But there's lots of different possibilities that you can do with it. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't set up a date, but I think it's going to be 2 3-hour sessions because there's a lot of work involved. I have to mail the kits, and I am going to charge $105, which includes everything, like I said. So it's got all the stuff and my time, and hopefully you'll like to do it and participate in it. It should be a lot of fun. So I will keep that. I will post that. I think I'll post that later today. I have to pick a date. And I think what I'll do is make a Facebook group just for the people that sign up for the class. And we will do the Facebook Live thing. And I will try to help you as much as I can with it. And, you know, you can always get a hold of me if you're having any problems. And I think I'm offering a lot for the money, so you know, I want you to get your money's worth. So hopefully you will join me in doing that. So until next week, I will see you on Facebook, and you can join me next Wednesday, and we'll do the little tack pins. So thanks for joining me. I hope you got something out of this, and see you guys later. Take care. Oh, and I'm going to make sure I shut off my camera again this time. Okay? See ya. Bye-bye.